The WWE investigation into Vince McMahon, a sham and a cover-up, according to the shareholder lawsuit. Plus, we have a rumor killer on Vince McMahon's alleged new wrestling promotion, and WWE have announced a title versus title match. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. New details emerged on the ongoing lawsuit that's been filed by WWE shareholders against the company. Now, this was a suit that was originally filed back in November of last year. It argues that Vince McMahon manipulated the sale process that resulted in WWE's merger and the formation of TKO Group Holdings, and it also calls into question the investigation into the alleged misconduct, abuse, assault, and trafficking that WWE took part in after the allegations about Vince McMahon came out.
Yes. Now, this case has been reviewed this week by Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, as new details on the minutes from board meetings have come to light after the shareholders issued a legal demand to inspect company records, which sounds fair enough. They're the shareholders. They should probably be allowed to.
They should know, yeah.
And this reveals that several board members attempted to resign from the WWE board the day the McMahon-Janelle Grant allegations broke in a report by the Wall Street Journal. However, Manjit Singh and Ignace Lahoud, I hope I pronounced that correctly, were encouraged to stay on the board by Stephanie McMahon, who a few days later would then become interim CEO when Vince McMahon stepped down.
I think in terms of, we obviously knew that Lahoud and Singh wanted to step down from their positions and eventually would, but we didn't know how quickly that was going to be the case. And it was Stephanie who went, hold fire, see what happens, and then it led to obviously Vince stepping away and Stephanie becoming interim CEO. Filings reveal, as reported, that the WWE Board of Directors unanimously then rejected the notion for Vince McMahon to return in December, following what WWE called the conclusion of the investigation into his allegations. However, McMahon would exercise his controlling voting power and he would return to the board. It led to multiple resignations from the WWE board and several board members being removed and replaced by Vince McMahon himself. Minutes from a meeting in January of 2023 reveal that the new board members installed by McMahon voted to have him return as executive chairman of the board, whilst Nick Khan and Paul Levesque reversed course, in quotes, after voting against McMahon to return to unanimously vote him back in. So initially they were one of those that unanimously voted to not allow Vince back on the board. Then when McMahon changed some of the board members and some resignations came through, they changed tack and they voted to bring him back in. The minutes reveal that also another board member abstained from voting in that particular vote. Another did not attend.
It's not very important. I won't attend the vote.
Yeah, I'm just not going to bother. I'm just going to stay away from this. I ain't touching this with the barge pole.
They might have had something on that day.
Dentist, probably.
Yes.
I always say dentist.
That seems to suggest there, and I'm not saying this is what definitely happened or anything, but the fact that Nick Khan and Triple H or Paul Levesque both first voted to get rid of Vince, and then once he'd exercised his power to return to the board, and then they voted to keep him in, that makes me seem like WWE internally had, so it sounds like they had some sort of change of philosophy, saying like, let's maybe just hope this all blows over now. We'll get him back in and just hope we can get the sale through maybe and hope this all, like it feels like there was an internal shift there at some point.
It could also be one of the cases where they probably saw that if they didn't exercise their votes and vote him back in, they were outnumbered. And then if Vince McMahon is the controlling shareholder, then I think on that occasion they decided just to for lack of a better term, play the game.
Yes, this of course all led to WWE's merger with TKO, which Vince was very involved in. Remember those pictures early on of him with the new board and everything, and with The Rock and all that? Something that, according to the filing, wasn't the only option, though. The lawsuit alleges that there were other bidders for WWE who were willing to, quote, cash out all the shareholders in the company. But according to the filing, the Endeavor bid was chosen because the top executives benefited from large bonuses and it would secure McMahon a role within the new company. And it did initially. Everyone was kind of, well, as wrestling fans who'd seen WWE's booking over the recent years, we were all, I remember, quite horrified saying, oh, Vince, there's all these quotes coming out saying like, Vince is the best man to be in charge of creative and be the chairman, and everyone was going, no, we almost had Triple H in charge and a better future, and now Vince is back. It was a very, very weird time.
It was as Ari Emanuel and Vince McMahon were having that meeting following the merger, where Ari was just saying like, hey, look, I wouldn't even let Vince leave if he wanted to.
That was the quote I was thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like Vince is here for the long haul. And the fact that this was the deal that was chosen, that may not have been, we don't know the extent of the other deals that were in place, but this is clearly the deal that benefited the very top of the chain the most, as opposed to the shareholders, which is another part of why this lawsuit is in place. The lawsuit also focuses on WWE's investigation into Vince McMahon that took place before his return. This is as a result of the allegations from Janelle Grant, where we've seen accusations made of abuse, assault, and trafficking. Ongoing court situation still with those, which is why we say allegations until it actually comes to light. What didn't happen. Whilst the company released a filing on August 15th stating that the special investigation was substantially complete, minutes from a meeting that was uncovered soon after said the suit was not substantially complete, and in fact new developments and next potential steps were being discussed 1 week after. So we had the announcement that hey, look, we're pretty much done here, it's all fine. But then a week later they were saying, no, we're internally still saying we're still looking into it. But already the PR machine had started rolling and said that, yeah, we've looked into it. We're pretty much done here. The lawsuit filing declares the Vince McMahon investigation, quote, a sham, and that WWE, quote, facilitated a cover-up.
And I remember everybody joking at the time when it was announced that WWE would be holding this internal investigation into what Vince had maybe done wrong or not done wrong, trying to work out what had happened. And I remember people joking at the time saying, like, they're investigating their own boss, are they? We'll see how this goes and everything. And it looks like, according to this shareholder lawsuit against WWE, looks like that may well have been the case.
May have
We'll have to wait until more details come out, of course.
Yes, and we'll let you know when we know more at cultaholic.com. Another Vince McMahon story that did the rounds over the last few hours was about Vince McMahon launching a new wrestling promotion. Now, this isn't a new idea. There's been a few times over the last 12 months where we've heard talk of Vince McMahon going it alone and starting again, looking at, building some bridges in Hollywood and places like that. But rumors started swirling yesterday following a Conrad Thompson and Eric Bischoff discussion on 83 Weeks.
Yes, they were discussing the idea that Vince McMahon was indeed in the process of starting up a new wrestling promotion. Thompson said he'd heard rumor and innuendo that McMahon was hiring some ex-WWE executives and talking with production crews, with speculation also coming to light that Fox may be a partner. But these claims have since been rebuked by Fightful Select and The Athletic, with Andrew Marchand from the latter posting on Twitter, if Vince McMahon is planning that or not, I don't know, but the Fox part is not true, according to a network spokesman. Fightful also reached out to a source at Fox who also denied any interest or involvement in Vince's rumored plans.
I wouldn't be shocked if we do eventually get Vince McMahon trying to start something like that, though.
Yeah, trying to control his narrative in a way.
Yeah, for lack of a better term.
I think that if that were to happen, and I think that that's a very good point, because there's always been this idea of Vince, like, he's not able to stay away. And even as old as he gets and everything, he still needs to be in control. He still needs to have power. And if he can't do that with WWE, a lot of people have suggested maybe he'd do that with a new promotion or another promotion. If that were to happen, I think we'd see a very interesting split in the industry between wrestlers and crew and talent willing to work for Vince McMahon and those who would kind of not want to touch it with a barge pole, essentially.
I'd be interested to see where the line gets drawn when that actually goes down.
If it did, and it looks as though Fox has categorically gone, whoa, no, we're not involved with that.
No, and that's what the Fox says. Now, let's end on some stuff from last night's NXT. We're on the way to WWE Roadblock, emanating from the theatre at Madison Square Garden next month. NXT in MSG.
And there's going to be a title versus title match, Tom, as well, with Stephanie Vakir putting the NXT North American Championship on the line against Julia's NXT Women's Championship. This is a match that a lot of people thought might be saved for WrestleMania weekend for Stand and Deliver, but they've gone, no, we're going for it now.
It was set up after Vakir successfully defended her Women's North American title against Carmen Petrovic, and then we had Julia reboot Stephanie's claim that she was the best champion, and the decision was made for them two to settle it title versus title. Are we getting one of these two holding both belts?
I would guess not. Just for the fact that this appears to be taking place on like a special version of the weekly show and not a PLE. That to me suggests that maybe there'll be some sort of run-in or false finish or something that protects both women. Because also, they're both relatively, even Julia, they're both quite early in their title reigns. They're both portrayed as very strong on TV. I don't think WWE would want to mess with that too soon.
I don't think they would. Also at Roadblock, as revealed last night, the Hardys back in action. It was good.
Jesus!
It was good to see them last night.
It was nice to see them in NXT. And this is also going to lead to, not a title versus title match, but kind of kind of a dream match, I suppose, if we look at how impressive Fraxium have been recently. They're going to end up facing each other, Tom, but not for Fraxium's NXT tag team titles.
No, the TNA tag team titles for the very first time ever are being defended in a WWE ring.
That's a crazy statistic.
I love that. And it's going to be the Hardys versus Fraxium at Roadblock. I've had a theory on this. I was spouting it upstairs.
Go for it. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
My theory is that March 11th at Roadblock, we have Fraxium versus the Hardys for the TNA tag team titles. Hardys retain. We then, maybe a week, 2 weeks later, we have Hardys versus Fraxium for the NXT tag team titles. Fraxium retain. There can be only one. So stand and deliver. Let's do Fraxium and the Hardys for both belts. Ladder match style. There you go.
I like that idea a lot. Yes. Booking, indeed.
You cowards. I haven't done that in a while. Book it, you cowards. I'm a big fan of that.
I think that would be a really good idea.
Arrogantly.
I'm a big fan of my own idea.
I think my idea is brilliant.
It is a good idea, and I would not be disappointed at all if that happened. I wonder if that's the route they go, because the NXT tag team division has lots of contenders at the minute. But to be fair, and this boosts your point, none of them have been able to dislodge Fraxium. So there we go.
We are dislodging 9 great ideas for Elimination Chamber on the channel today.
Yeah.
9 pitches time. You look nervous.
We've got 8 at the minute, unless I can write another one after this. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, 9 pitches. Myself, Ross, and Andrew will be we'll be throwing out some fantasy plans of our own for Elimination Chamber.
And of course, it is Elimination Chamber week. We have predictions from Adam and Andrew later this week on the channel. Live reactions from them both as well. Gorgeous fellas that they are. And we'll have what happened at and the WTF moments on Patreon of the Elimination Chamber. It's Chamber Week, baby. But more importantly, are you twitching tonight?
Yeah, myself and Owen are twitching. Twitch.tv/Cultaholic. We're in charge of the Fulham Swans. Last week, the old Brentford manager had a right go in the press. He was like, yeah, I'm going to beat these guys 3-1 to the Fulham Swans, I'm afraid, my friend. Might have been 3-2. We won. And we're going to carry on that good form this week too. Join us there.
Yeah, Brentford manager, you can shut up.
Take that.
Ian Brentford.
Benny McCarthy, actually, former South African international. The game's weird when it comes to hiring. Just you get these people from the past just crop up and just take charge of like Premier League teams and stuff. And it's normally nice to see. But then for some reason, Benny McCarthy, we got a little inbox notification. Benny McCarthy does not respect the job of manager of Fulham. Well, we showed you, Benny.
Yeah, there's only one person I like from the Brentford area, and that's my mate Dave Roberts. Benny can get in the bin.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Roberts is fine. Love you, Dave, but not Benny.
Nice one, Dave.
Benny Hill, more like. Yeah. Anyway, for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe and fly, swans, fly. Sod off, Benny.